Hello everyone, and welcome to the Flying Cork TX. Hello everyone, I'm Tom Briscoe, and today I'm in downtown Blanco, Texas, in the Texas Hill Country AVA, and we are at Esperanza Winery. We're going to go inside and have a talk with the owner and winemaker Judith Raven over a wine tasting. So let's go. I'm sitting inside here with Judith Raven. She is the owner and winemaker of Esperanza Winery in downtown here in Blanco. And Judith, before we actually start pouring, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your winery?
Okay, well, we started back in March of 2000, just putting vines in, and of course experimenting with making wine. Back at the beginning, we were doing small batches, and everything was very small based. And we were growing then only Sauvignon Blanc and selling our fruit to other wineries. And then in 2014, we decided to keep the harvest for ourselves and go commercial and start doing wine for everyone else. And then we decided we were selling out too fast, so we had to increase our production and increase the vines we had and increase where we were selling. So we opened up the tasting room in Blanco, and we've been busy ever since. So we'll have our 24th anniversary in March.
24 years. That is awesome. And what grapes do you have on the estate now?
We have Sauvignon Blanc and Tannat, Tempranillo, and Viognier.
I've been out there. I've seen the grapes. I've seen the vines. You're building new stuff out there now, aren't you?
We are. The grand plan was always to have a tasting room with the vines, and we grew too fast. Well, there's no such thing, but for the plan, we grew too fast, and so we got the tasting room in Blanco. But we knew we were going to have to come back and build on the ranch so that people could experience wine tasting and see the vines. And when there was discussion of TxDOT coming through Blanco and possibly plowing through town, it was a good time to make the decision to break ground. And so we are working on an outdoor venue first at the tasting room where you can sit under the trees, listen to band music, look at the vines, and enjoy an afternoon to start. And then we will build a tasting room out there and an event area. And we won't close Blanco, but we'll do more larger activities at the ranch because we can. We'll have the space.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of space out there. You have an ETA on completion of the
I'd say the entire build will be done probably by 2027, but we're considering 3 different buildings, a pub venue, a tasting room, ballroom venue, and a formal kitchen dining room area for private events or small intimate dinners. So that's all going to take some time. It's a long timeline, but we didn't do this project overnight either. So.
No, definitely not. It's looking pretty good out there now.
Thank you.
Talking about grapes and wine always whets my taste buds. Should we start with the first?
We should start.
Okay. What are we going to do first here?
I think we should start with the 2021 Sangiovese. This has now aged very nicely. It's at its peak at this moment. Most of the wines that we have after about 3 years are the best. So if you can be patient and wait, they're worth it. This fruit is from the High Plains, and we don't always go to the High Plains for fruit. I try to obviously provide my own, but the Sangiovese was a unique opportunity. So
patience is definitely a winemaker's best virtue. It is not a wine drinker's best virtue. Having to wait.
So true. Cheers.
It's a very nice. Cheers. Thank you. It's a very nice. Easy drinking, getting the darker red fruits in there and a little bit of the sort of the pepper from Sangiovese is always known for the spice.
I'm going to let you have all the descriptors because you are trained to do this. I'm just the farmer and, wine end of this. My vocabulary is not as large as yours.
Definitely on the finish, you get that the spicy notes, from the peppery notes from the Sangiovese grape that they're known for, which is really nice. But it's lighter on the fruit side. Go great with a red pasta sauce, but not necessary. I could
right.
It could sit by itself with a bottle of this.
We this is one of our best sellers when we go to wine festivals. And the main thing that I say when I'm there is that it goes with everything and it goes with nothing.
Yep, that is very true. That's really nice. A little bit higher. Above medium on the acidity, and the acidity is really nice on here too. You feel it in the mouth watering.
The previous year's Sangiovese came from here in Blanco, Anchor Oak Vineyards, and it produced a very light body, almost no structure red, which was lovely for drinking, not so good for standing up to food at all, but it was very nice. And a surprise that it came from here in Blanco. That segues us into the next wine, which is Petite Syrah Sangiovese blend. The Sangiovese is again from Anchor Oak, but we wanted to have a more robust wine, so it was blended with Petite Syrah from the High Plains. And Petite Syrah has definitely taken over in the blend, even though it's 50-50. And I think it has a nice strong pepper finish, and to me it's becoming the steak wine.
The Sangiovese as well, did that come Inman Vineyards?
Inman Vineyards, yeah. It's up by Lubbock, but it's
High Plains also?
High Plains also, yeah. It's a lovely source. I've been buying from the same gentleman up there for quite some time. 9 years now, going on 10. And it's been very good for us because we have available to us fruit that I wouldn't normally have because I can't grow everything. And we've had some lovely cabs and cab francs and quite an opportunity. Now the Viognier is starting to come out. More people are producing Viognier. So, but not a lot of people with Sauvignon Blanc. That's something that's
I ask this a lot to winemakers if they had a choice. If there was a vote on, say, the national grape of Texas, what would your choice be as a grower?
Tempranillo.
Would it be Tempranillo? Okay.
Tempranillo. I love the plant. From the very first year that I put the Tempranillo in, it was a very happy plant. Very vigorous. I didn't have to encourage it at all. It outpaced the growth of the other vines 3-to-1. It knows its home. It knows it's happy, and huge clusters, really lovely fruit. So yeah, Tempranillo. If I can grow Tempranillo, there you are. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I've heard it can be a little persnippety at times, but I think that
like a contrary child.
It definitely, to me, seems to be one that obviously does very well in the state.
But you have to give it time. Every time we've come out with a Tempranillo, even when we were experimenting way back in the day, the first year, the second year, still pushing battery acid, Then all of a sudden, in the third year, it's just magnificent. You have to give it time.
Right.
And the Spain has a rule about the 3 years, and I can see why. It should just give it some time. We're in such a rush here. Pump that stuff out. You just got to give it the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a hard lesson because, again, we're a little impatient
Mm-hmm.
to get stuff processed.
Yeah, and I know I've gone through. I think I've drank my weight in your Tempraneos. Also, and surprisingly as well, your Cabernet Sauvignon, and even that one, much different than let's say typical California Cabernets. Yours is also on the brighter side and easy
drinking.
easy standalone by itself. Drinking
Yes,
wine without requiring a
that
fat
is
juicy steak.
that is my goal.
Would go good with
That's
that too.
what I prefer.
That's your.
I don't want it to be so
your
big
style.
that it takes your breath away in a bad way. I'd rather it be a drinkable wine. I think that's important.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not so sure that the Tempraneos and the Tannats that we've archived, when we finally open those up to do a vertical tasting, if they take your breath away, because they're going to be so strong. But right after the 3-year mark, 3, 4, 5-year mark, they're still drinkable, and I think that's key for me. That's what I prefer.
Yeah. Again, patience.
Yeah.
Your Tannats have been very beautiful too.
We have a new Tannat coming out in a couple of weeks, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Yeah. So that couple of weeks. Let's see. I'll be out of town for all of March and April. So I'm going to have to wait until May.
I'll save you some.
To come see you again to get my hands on your Tannat. And that's another one that is doing, the grape itself has become very prominent in the state.
Yes, and rightly so.
It's doing well.
I think so. I think Tempranillo and then Tannat is number 2. Should be promoted as the Texas wine.
The deputy national wine of Texas. It seems to be headed that way. So, and this one is new as well.
Yes. So as I mentioned before, this is a Petite Syrah Sangiovese blend 50-50. And the Sangiovese is it's a 2022 Sangiovese, but it's a 2021 Petite Syrah. Therefore, this has no vintage. It's just the blend.
So that would say what you have an NV on the bottle. Is it the non-vintage?
I just don't have the year.
There you go. That works.
I think NV
that means the same to
obvious.
me.
Yeah.
It means the same to me. Yeah.
The wines were made.
The wines, okay.
The wines were made. The blend was done last October to decide what the percentage. And I really wanted all of the wonderful traits of the Petite Syrah to take over. Because I wanted the Sangiovese to be a complement, but not the reason you're drinking it. You're drinking it for the Petite Syrah. And so
which standalone is a bolder red.
I fully went into the blend with the mindset that it was going to be 70-30, 60-40 blend. But because Petite Syrah has so much backbone to it, 50-50 ended up being the choice. So.
And that is really nice. It's just definitely darker than the standalone Sangiovese here. You do get the
definitely.
you do get the Petite Syrah, the darker fruits from the Petite Syrah. That just makes this much more. I'd say it's much more rounded. A little bit more body is there.
When we're selling
also
this
very
at
delicious at 50.
50,
it's just that Sangiovese really brings it down to just again, it's just perfect by itself. I could
I think as it ages, it'll be more of a wine that you would want to have food with, and less of just a drinking wine. It was, of course, once it's bottled, first bottled, everything is light. Everything has that, too young
that would
thing
sit
going
well
on.
for another
so
2 years.
it still needs some time, I think, to be fully realized. But when we have this at festivals, and I mention the word pepper and I mention the word steak, and then, the wine taster, okay, I can identify with what I'm tasting. It's not everyone at the wine festivals has a background to know what to look for or taste.
Yeah. Definitely more tannins are there.
Yes.
That's delicious. Yeah.
I wouldn't quite go to plum yet, but it does come to mind.
Maybe a little bit more with the aging.
Right. Yeah.
That would come up.
All I get right now is pepper.
It is there. These wines are definitely, it would be great for the ones that you don't want fruity wines, and you don't want the bigger,
right.
the full-bodied red wines. This is a very happy medium, a go-to.
And I'm happy not having a super Tuscan or something, really big.
Yeah.
I think there's a niche for people that want to just have nice drinkable wine.
Yep.
Affordable drinkable wine.
Very, very much so. There are a few Texas spots on my wine rack at home that are the go-to bottles that I grab, and it's usually yours, Esperanza, and then there's all the rest are sitting there waiting for plates of food of some sort or another. Yours have definitely gone well with some enchilada dinners at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are really great go-to bottles, I think.
I wish I had my Tanat here to share.
For everybody that knows me knows that I'm partial to purple, and I had the purple label on
there
it.
There it is. I almost wore the purple shirt for you. I almost did.
I need a new Esperanza t-shirt.
We'll work on that.
I have overworn mine.
Over the purple. Got it.
These are definitely a treat.
Before we sign off, I'd like to give a shout out to Bending Branch Winery for their assistance in all the production and all that they do to help make sure that I have wine.
Yep, absolutely. Dr. Bob is amazing.
Yeah.
I haven't reached out to them yet, but I would love to schedule a sit down with him someday in the future. He is definitely one of the leading contributors to wine growth in the state of Texas.
Absolutely, yes. We would not be where we are without him.
Yeah, I see him as whenever I hear the word Tanat, that is
that's it.
That is the very first thing that pops into my head is Bending Branch and Dr. Bob. Well, what's in the future as far as production goes?
We have a Tempranillo that's in production now, and that's going to be another couple of years before we'll see it. And I'm, although
again, we have to wait.
Again, the snowpocalypse that we had back in 21 really did a number on the vines, and how many vines are left to do whatever. The crazy too much rain, not enough rain of last year made it that I didn't have a white harvest at all. None of the whites came through. So I'm lacking in a white, and that's a focus now to come to even go get some fruit and or whatever we need to do to have an Esperanza white again. It's been too many years we haven't had a white. And although I offer guest artists here at the tasting room, when I go to events, I don't bring their wine. I only bring mine, and it would be nice to have more in my stable.
Yeah. Who was it that you featured here, their wines here, because they have not had a tasting room yet So
Whisper Path.
Whisper Path.
Yeah, Jesse Villarreal with
Uh-huh.
Whisper Path. I feature his wine here.
Mm-hmm.
Which wines I offer depend on what wines I
Mm-hmm.
have.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah, that was a very nice thing to do.
I think it's mutually beneficial.
Mm-hmm. Very much.
We've had Cellar Rat when he was starting.
Mm-hmm.
Way back at the beginning, we've had Brock Estes, and up until the end of the year, I had his wines out here too. He has a tasting room, but just a little bit more exposure, and I needed the extra wine.
Yep.
I've had Pam Connor's wine from Corpus Christi here, Siren's Call. I don't prefer to make a sweet wine, and she had the sweet wine, so I offered it here for 6 months. I have a collection at home
Somebody's
of
always
all the different guest artists I've had here, and I think it's lovely to give my customers and my wine club members a bigger choice. I think that's important.
Yeah, and you're helping out other wineries.
I'm sure it's not hurting their sales any. So.
Yeah, that's something that I've always found amazing about the wine industry, is that somebody is always helping somebody else.
Yes.
Out in California with was it a Solidarity? Some guy abandoned a multi-million-dollar harvest order up in Oregon, and 3 wineries got together, banded together, created a new label, Solidarity, so that they didn't lose a couple of $1 million in grapes.
Exactly. Yeah. The end
so to
goal.
Speak, go down the drain.
Exactly.
And it happens a lot here too.
I was inspired by my trip to California, and we were doing the wine tasting circuit. We were out in Livermore, which is the new Napa out there. And the gentleman that we met at the first winery on the first day had an accident on the third day we were in town. And the gentleman that we met was the third winery on that first day. Went and finished making his wine for him because he was broken. Collarbone things, And he went and finished making his wine for him. And I thought, isn't that fantastic?
Yep.
And I wanted to do that.
That is the nature of the wine industry for sure. Yeah. And again, you mentioned Dr. Bob at Bending Branch. There's Ron Yates for sure, William Chris, that are constantly helping out, and especially new wineries, helping them get up and running and up and started. So it's always nice that there's always somebody else there that has your back.
Sure.
That's a great thing.
It's a win-win.
Well, on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely.
Letting me sit with you.
My pleasure.
And it's always a joy to come out here. You should also come out here and just having a conversation with Judith. It's always pleasant here. Obviously, you can tell it's always comfortable here as well. I will post more links to the address, to the winery, to the website, and such will be listed in the description down below. If you like this video, click on subscribe, click on thumbs up, and we will see you next time. And cheers. Thank you.